Good morning, welcome to the second episode of the Beyond the Behaviour podcast. Today we've got a special guest with us, Chris Withers, and he's from a company called My Box Live, and he's going to spend a little bit of time today letting us know about his brand new invention, okay? So, first of all, Chris, welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's all right, no problem.
Yeah.
So I like to kind of let people who are watching learn and understand about my guest. So, from your own perspective, tell us a bit about you.
Yeah, brought up in Middlesbrough fan. Not the best result at the weekend, but, I'm sure they'll get back at it for next season. Yeah. Went to school in Middlesbrough. Was never very good at reading and writing at school. Always struggled a bit. And and the stories on the side of my box, I used to have a tin of words in my granddad's baccy tin to help me learn to read and write. And that was as good as it got for me when it come to anything that was fun learning in the classroom or at home for that matter. But the dinner ladies were brilliant because they used to help me sound words out. We call it phonics now and the sounding of words. But I can still remember at primary school when the teachers would sort of tell me to read what's there. And if you can't sound the words out and stuff like that, how do you do that? So that set me off, always getting a bit anxious and nervous going into secondary school, being asked to read out. I still get a bit like that now, but I've learned to cope better. You just generally do. But I had to battle at school to better myself with stuff, and you didn't really get that type of support that's available now, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. But went to uni, got a degree, got a lot of help when I was there to pass that degree. Then I did TA work for a long time, and that's when this game came about when I was a teaching assistant at a school in Darlington. And it's sort of like, I can just remember at about 3:30, the kids had come to me, we'd be doing a maths intervention, and the weather was like what it is today, which is red hot, and yesterday. And these kids they were very lucky, they had good parental backing, mums and dads were spot on. And they just wanted them to catch up a little bit with the maths. And that's where My Box Live sort of evolved. It started to come alive, really, because we were doing worksheets and they were boring. No one wants to do a worksheet and push a pencil round a piece of paper for an hour quietly. So I asked the powers above if I could mix it up a little bit. And it came from me being, going to Morrison's, which is just round the corner, isn't it? I asked them if I could have some of the boxes, and we designed a board game through that, and I was the app, and I just couldn't believe that the kids would just sit there, and I might say, what's 25 add 13, and they'd be there doing it. And all of a sudden it was fun, the fact that they got to design their own figure and move it around the track, and maths became a lot more. Maths became a lot more fun for them. So that's where the game, as you see it now and have seen it, sits. I was brave enough 4 years ago. I thought I need to give this a go because I had a couple of prototypes made. I was very lucky to get some funding from Innovate UK, Digital City. And the Innovate UK money 4 years ago was the catalyst, really. It was like, if you don't give this a go now, you're not gonna change habit in the way we learn maths. Try and do something useful with yourself, So I thought, right, let's give this a go. So it's took me a good 3 years to get it where it is now, and just me working by myself, battling away to get this done. And the English that you see on the box, I'd wrote it out. And I'm very lucky to have like an English professional teacher that helped me do a lot of the stuff that you see on the website, because I just don't have those skills to make it sound. I know when I read it now, but I didn't have the skills, and I got a lot of help and support with this to get an educational game out there now, helping. It sort of kicked off a bit in alternative provision. That's where you do a lot of intervention with young people. It's not always the same old in mainstream. There's lots of different adaptive learning and things that they do, as you know. And that's where people started buying it and using it in that environment. And
So
then it went into mainstream and primary, and it's just plodding along at the minute.
Yeah.
You know.
So what I'm kind of, I look at things a little bit weird. Okay. So you've took something from your own experience, which was challenging, difficult. You had your own struggles in school.
Yeah.
You know, where you weren't the most, you know, literate, if you want to call it that. Yeah. And you put that passion into purpose. You've created something where you go, do you know what? I know what it's like to be that young person who struggles. I know what it's like to be that person who doesn't understand what the teacher's telling me. And you've put that into this. That's unbelievable, mate, to be fair. You know, what you've turned that pain into purpose for the benefit of every single person. Yeah. Understanding the way people learn nowadays is very, very different to the way you learned, the way I learned. And a lot of that behaviour, a lot of that kind of, a lot of that behaviour comes out in a negative way. Maths, for me, isn't the most interesting subject in the world.
No one does it for fun, Paul.
No,
Nobody does
unless they're counting money.
Unless they're counting money.
Yeah, but what you seem to have done here is create.
You need to know how to count, though, don't you? When you're counting the money, it makes it more fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's some people I know can count money but can't count anything else. But for me, I think what you've done here, it looks fun, it looks innovative, it looks different.
Yeah, it is.
It looks like it's meticulously planned, you know. So
I'll take you
why
through it
teaching? Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
So you struggled in school.
Yeah.
And you became a teaching assistant.
Yeah.
But where did that come from?
I don't know really. I wanted to become a teacher, which I did in 2016. But before that, the nerves and the anxiety and the worry about my reading and writing wouldn't dare give it a go. You know. But the one thing I did like was helping people. When I was at uni, I did a lot of coaching and stuff like that, and it gives you a bit of self-reward, you know, to think you practice something, you do a bit of coaching, and then your team goes and plays, your young team, and then you see some of the things that you're practicing, your coaching, and it comes off in games, and that rapport with the kids and the students and the family and, you know, mums and dads that have watched the hard work that have gone in. Because when you're at a school at Branksome, you don't get paid any extra hours for doing other stuff.
No, yeah.
You know, you just do it because I like doing it. And it's only because I loved sport when I was a young lad at school.
What was your chosen sport at school?
I liked football mainly. Football. I did better in hockey though. Ended up playing for like the North East and stuff like that. Wow. And I loved that. But I got a couple of niggly injuries and a bit of a muscle imbalancement, which just set me off a little bit. Like, imagine finding something for once where no one has to tell you what to do. Like the teacher, you're having help, you need all these type of support, and I didn't need that in that when I was playing hockey. It was like a freedom thing. It was like, I know how to train a little bit. I'm learning from people. And when I went and played, I was like one of the main people on the pitch that did all right, you know, and it was a lovely feeling. It didn't last very long because I got injured and stuff like that. But the reason going into education was to maybe not have people go through some of the feelings I've had when you've struggled. You think you're going to do quite well at your sport, because the aim was to try and play for like Great Britain at hockey, like when I was younger.
That was the aspiration,
and yeah, the aspiration was that, and then go to university and become a PE teacher. But the hockey thing didn't happen, and that was quite a tough thing to deal with. Like, so I had to. I went on a bit of a roller coaster for a long time, and then like I think maybe in the last 8 years of my life, I felt a lot more stable and in control of myself. Still daft as a brush, though. Of course.
Yeah. It's
are you an idiot or a dafty? I'm a dafty.
Yeah.
I'm a dafty.
To get off the Furies.
Yeah. If you're listening, you want to buy this. But yeah, so I wanted to go back into education to help people, and give people not to have people worry about maybe going to maths or science or English or whatever lesson it is and panic. Now I've seen that. I've seen that in some tough lads that wouldn't think twice about having a fight with you in year 9 or 10. But if you asked them to read out, they couldn't do it, or they could do it, but you could see the nervous reactions and that type of behaviour will come into avoiding doing it just because they don't feel confident in doing it.
Yeah.
And when I look back, when this game started to get developed, I thought, well, what would I want in this game? What did I need back then? And I thought, as simple as it is, a number line on a
Yeah, on the top of your board, yeah.
making your little figures quite cool. Paddle's popular and piddle at the minute. So there's that sport covered. Paul, we've got your boxer here.
Yeah, Boxwell.
Boxwell, that's it. The thing is, though, we've got 8 characters, right, from, number 23, your LeBron James. So there's baseball, skateboarding, rugby, football. They're all there.
I'm going to test your knowledge.
Yes.
Is it LeBron James 23 or is it Michael Jordan?
Oh, God, I've gone LeBron James, but did he wear 23 as well? Well, this is the thing for mums and dads out there. If you want to go current,
yeah, absolutely.
go LeBron, but if you want to go old school...
I might be totally wrong there, by the way, just to put it out there.
No, that's a good shout. But, with these, we have the language for learning round the belts. So if you're not... So you've got your ad, obviously he's an ad dude here.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, hang on, wait there. Plus, increase... It's the language for learning.
The terminology that that a teacher might use.
Yeah, and you can pick that up when you play anyway. And a couple of supports like Martina words, but for someone who's learning the times tables, we've got, you want a 6.
Yeah.
And 7 to 12. I don't know which way that goes round. That way. There you go.
A little bit
1
of
to 6,
a
7 to
fidget
12.
tool as well.
Fidget tool.
Yeah.
But if you're struggling, 8/8, just count 8 along. 64, that's it.
Yeah.
And those little supports are absolutely ideal for this.
So you're removing barriers to participation by just because of where someone's currently at.
Yeah.
That if they can use that visual aid, if it be at the top of your board or on there.
Yeah, you don't need to overcomplicate anything. People seem to think everything's going to be solved with AI and an app, and teaching and learning to play sport isn't like that. It isn't like that. You need to start. This is the perfect starting point. And what allows you to start is the number line and your little safety net, your times table columns. The app generates the levels, the questions. You can find your level on there going through the performance centre. Once you've found that, you can play at your level. So you can have dad, who might be 35, I don't know, son might be 15, and you might have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. You put your figures on the track, you found where you're at in the performance centre, and you just play. And you'll find that you'll, like in sport, when lots of parents absolutely support the kids in sport, they take them coaching 2 or 3 times a week, games on a weekend. And if you were only doing 2 hours of PE a week, I think it's something like 2 hours a week.
Yes, I think that's a minimum requirement, isn't it?
If you're only doing that a week, you're not going to improve. You're not going to improve at all. But if you start doing more hours, you're just going to get better at stuff. And it's no difference with maths. Start training. You do your 4 hours a week in maths. But if you're doing 8 hours, but it's fun and you don't realise you're doing that for 4 extra hours, all of a sudden you've been to school twice in a year, you start getting better. It's like PE teachers when the primary school kids, let's just take football because it's popular.
Yeah.
Mums and dads. I mean, I've got my son at Diddy Kicks, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a free shout out for you there. Right? And he just had to turn up one day. He didn't know how to kick a ball. He just found his way. We didn't push him into anything. He just started playing and getting used to, doing it.
Jumping over cones and hurdles and that thing. Yeah,
and it was fun, especially when you put the little tag things and they run and chase you and pull these. He loved that. But he's learning through play and enjoying doing that. And parents are doing that. They're taking the kids from from the ages of 2 all the way to football, and they're doing so many extra training hours, so much more practice. They've probably done 10,000 hours, where they say, I think 10,000 hours to maybe perfect a skill, master it and keep on top of it. So your PE teacher's dream in year 7, isn't it? You're always going to get these kids coming
energy
in.
And
Well, they're already skilled up. They're already ready. But your maths teachers are like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
they've only been doing a couple of hours a week. As soon as the 6 weeks comes along, you forget.
Yeah.
And if you're not practicing regularly and doing things, it's very easy to get maths terminology. It's very easy to lose your fitness in football and your touch and everything. So I'm trying to change habit, but do it in a fun way to give parents a recognised educational game to use at home, in the front room, kitchen table, get on with it, have a game. At school, morning clubs, breakfast clubs, after school clubs, or in a main lesson if you want, you know, or form time, just get it out and play, or have an after school club.
It's multifunctional, isn't it? No matter where.
Yeah, and there's loads of ways to play this game.
Yeah.
There's loads of different ways to do it, you know, catering from your 3 or 4 year old up to your GCSE numeracy stuff for maths, which is ideal. You've got the kit is here with the app to take you from, you know, very average to, you know, quite exceptional. You recall, learning to, you'll sharpen your skills. Like you sharpen your skills in football, you know, you drop your shoulder, you're gone, you take that first touch.
Yeah.
All those skills in football, for example, we're doing that for maths. You add, subtract, you multiply, divide, fractions, percentage, decimals, and many other numeracy sort of topics out there. You get practicing, you answer the questions quicker. The minute you break away from these, you don't need them. You don't need your number line anymore. The stabilisers are gone. You're away, and then you're ready to access your GCSE stuff. You know, and it's not always about that. It's about learning to win and manage your emotions. Coming second with the game.
Absolutely.
You know, and if there's one thing this definitely does, it teaches you fluency in numeracy. Manage. I mean, I heard it on Sky Sports many a time. Learning to win and manage your emotions. Coming second.
Yeah, of course.
Train during the week. And bounce back, you go again next Saturday. And that's the same for, I don't know, gymnastics, hockey, boxing. Oh, you know, you get a couple of clips and you think, I dropped my guard. And someone will tell you, so you go away and practice it. You don't want to get it again, do you?
No,
You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose.
No.
You don't want to get beat again and have that week of things spinning through your mind. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? I must improve this. You know, but you learn a lot from coming second, don't you, at the end of the day, if you get beaten in football.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot to learn when you win as well. It's a nice feeling, isn't it, when you pull something off, when you beat mum and dad playing this game, or
That's
you take on your teacher, you know. And that's the whole point of it, because, am I yapping on too much here? But
No, listen, you're all right.
Not everyone's going to make a professional footballer, or you've got those aspirations like myself to go out there and try and be the best you can be at a particular sport. And sometimes or you'll try everything you can to train and do everything right. Sometimes you'll get injured and it doesn't work. So you need other things to fall back on. Yeah. And what a good thing to fall back on, maths. Not a bad thing.
Absolutely. So I'm going to take what you've just said there, and I'm just going to pull it back a bit. So the podcast that we have is Beyond the Behaviour, okay? So as a teaching professional, someone who works actively still in schools now, you've probably seen a massive shift from when we first came across each other at Branksome School back in the day, of what types of behaviours you saw, types of behaviours kind of you didn't see, some that were hidden. And for me, behaviour is communication. You mentioned before about a young lad who, you know, you described him as might be the rough lad who comes in, who would happily have a fight with you, but when it comes to the confidence, self-esteem's on the floor when it comes to a new subject like a maths thing, all right?
Yeah.
Before the introduction of this, what types of behaviours as a teaching professional would you see where you'd kind of go, there's an alarm bell there that he's struggling with his maths? What sort of behaviours would you see there?
If I go back to Branksome School, a lot of it was your very old school behaviour, you know. And what I mean by that is the kids generally didn't have any particular mental health issue. A lot of stuff of it came from home, probably from 0 to 5, you know. But we can't, obviously, as education people, we can't control that. But we're looking for a fix, aren't we? We're trying to see how we can deal with stuff. So often I would see kids, they'd shout or they'd nudge the friend, they'd look for a distraction, or anything but work, isn't it, sometimes? And that panic of trying to do stuff. You know, sometimes looking at the way they grip the pen and the way the handwriting was, you could tell they hadn't been practiced. No one's probably helped them even hold a pen. They might have been out of school for a while. So little things like that is where I think, right, we need to look into this.
So attention was diverted somewhere else.
Yeah, of course, and just mucking around with the friends. I'd rather spend a bit more time in Mr. Tucker's class.
Mr. Tucker, what a legend.
He was a legend, you know. But from that, we'd find ways to make their learning a little bit more interesting. Sometimes a laptop.
What could you do then, though?
Sometimes, sometimes they may have a laptop in the class to help them type things out here and there. Sometimes in maths in particular, some kids are quite proud and they write very neatly, and if they made a mistake, they'd get upset and rip it
Full
out.
page out.
Full page gone, and you just get to hear it and be one error, boom, book's gone, everything. But if we had the whiteboard there to make a mess on it, then we could copy it out after we'd worked it out.
Yeah, and when you know it was done, and it was perfect.
Yeah, but
transfer over.
All we needed to do was make a little note to say that, right, he's done it on the whiteboard. An Ofsted coming and go, oh, this is a little bit neat. We'll go, well, no, hang on a minute, we took a few pictures, and we'd have that little log there to say that he preferred to do that. But there's just a couple of examples. Even when I've worked with kids where unfortunately parents haven't maybe looked after them as good as what they should have done, where some kids sat right at the front of the class. I mean, right at the front, because they can't see. They need to go and get they need to go and get their eyes tested. They're getting headaches. I mean, there's loads of things really with. I mean, I'm far from an expert in behaviour, but you generally get a sense that things sometimes are right with certain young people.
So you're going to see the triggers, aren't you?
Yeah, and you have to have a chat with the safeguarding officer and the work things, and then you might find out, oh, so-and-so's died. Oh, we didn't know that. Yeah. Loads of things, and then when we know the problem, whatever it may be, from things I've said there to whatever it is, then you can find a way of helping, can't you? You need to know what's wrong. You need to find a way, and if you can do that, And some kids in PE had one lad, what's up with you? My foot's hurting a bit. When I was looking, I'd be walking it. I was like, bloody hell.
Some things you would never know, would you?
Yeah, and they were hobbling around playing football, going, you need to go get that burn off. You need to go get that sorted out. And then he hadn't told mum, or for whatever reason, just didn't know, just left it, which you sometimes do, I suppose.
Yeah,
even
especially young lads as well, don't.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Anyway, there's a few examples. If you can find the problem, then you can do a bit of helping, can you? You can work those education, healthcare plans around people. I don't think, going back to your question there, it was a bit old school behaviour.
Was it just labelled bad behaviour?
I think so. I think, just...
Because that's the reality of it, isn't it?
He's naughty. He's naughty. This, that and the other.
He's refusing to do that. When actually, as a professional, you were looking for things, even then, back in those days, as why? Is there another reason that we can understand? Because that behaviour for me is communication. It's kind of like, 100%. I don't feel confident. I don't feel that I'm in control. At that point, that's going to come out in boisterous behaviour. I'm going to nudge my friend. I'm going to create distractions. I'm going to do whatever it is to give myself the power back that maths lesson and the worry and concern about it is just taken away from me. I'm going to pull back the energy. I'm going to pull back the power.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we found nowadays is that people are a lot more wise to behaviour in regards to it's not just naughty and nice.
No.
It's just what is the barrier? What is that young person struggling with right now that we can do something straight away?
Yeah.
In your sense, it's maths. Yeah? I struggle with maths. I will play this game and I will play with my own kids as well. Because it'll be me out of my comfort zone. And if I can't expect anybody else I'm working with to be outside their own comfort zone, then how can I expect them to be as best as they can be? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd like to think that this is just one step forward, a creative and innovative way of saying, do you know what? We have got young people now who learn in different ways. We've got EHCP plans, we've got assessments for different, diagnosis and things like that. Yeah. All that say, this young person does not learn the way an average person would learn.
Yeah.
But they can't be supported in mainstream school.
The one thing you touched on there that I think is a barrier for me to get the game out, it's just when I was young, my mum and dad didn't play a maths game with me, right? And there's loads of parents in and around my age now that are going to have to be brave enough to buy it and brave enough to use it.
Yep.
And use it right and go, okay, my reading wasn't very good. It's a reading game for spelling. You've got to drop that. You've got to think of all the problems and the issues you may have had at school, but if you're bringing up your own young children, you've got to dive in and smile about getting it wrong. Because if you don't, you're going to set the bar for your son or daughter.
Creating anxiety by doing that.
You're going to start creating problems. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do, of course it is. And I'm here to try and change habit in the way we learn maths, and I've got a monstrous task to try and do it without question. But these dads and mums took them to football for the first time and just let them play. They started, pick this up and just start. And before you know it, within a couple of months, they've gone, you'll see the progress because you work through the levels. But putting that aside, the fun aspect of family time matters, and you're playing a useful game for 20 minutes.
Do you
half
think,
an
right?
hour. It's a bonus, isn't it?
Did we not though, right? I can't speak for you or anybody else, right? But my nana, my granddad, my dad, my uncle, we played Scrabble, cards, dominoes, Monopoly.
Yep.
You know, these games all...
Connect 4 as well.
Connect 4, yeah. Oh, I'm unbelievable at that. But all of these games had competition, some sort of learning, counting, you know, moving things around,
methodical
counting money,
with
all
everything.
of that sort of thing. So actually, even though there was no specific games around like this is purpose built.
Yeah.
Actually, when we played dominoes and cards and things like that.
Yeah.
We played jacks, 2s and 8s, and we were understanding different rules. And if you go to a different part of a country, they play jacks, 2s and 8s differently, and your head falls off, and you think, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
You know.
but all of them I'm seeing cards coming out in school, you know, and different other little games are creeping in there because they've got value. The things that you've just said, huge value.
But they weren't labelled as, this is an educational tool. This is just Scrabble.
Yeah.
This is Kaplunk. If you pull that out, how many of them marbles are going to drop down? Yeah. Do you want to win? Do you want to lose?
Yeah.
And I think we don't sit down enough as families now. And we don't, because ultimately, on the end of your phone, on your iPad, you can play Scrabble on your iPad, Monopoly Go, you can walk around catching daft Pokemon. So, you know, it's the world's changing. But this, for me...
This is your hybrid. This is your hybrid that, you know, math sports challenge game that does balance screen time with hands-on learning. And you could arguably say my app's just an app. It's the same as anything else. It's there. It's a little bit different because we split screen. No one, you know, a bit like Mario Kart. You're playing, you're playing at your level though in the curriculum. And there's a few other little features in there, but the fact that you've got something to play, and you know, a lot of people, how would you measure progress with this? How far do you want to go? Sometimes, just this will get you really good at your numeracy. And when you roll that dice and you get the question right, and you're off, you're moving forward, like in golf, you're hitting your ball forward.
Yeah, it's a step forward, isn't it?
You're moving forward, and for young people, forget that young people, they need a bit of balance with screen time and hands-on learning. They need to have that touch, feel. It's
sensory.
How we learn the sensory things, and this ticks the boxes, you know, for that. You know, like I say, it's based on athletics. You can do the 400, the 100. It can change shape. You can pursue and chase each other. It's versatile in loads of different ways to play the game, which is good.
I don't want to lose any of this because this, for me, you came to see me when you HQ, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Where you introduced this to me, and I'm not going to go into it about what I felt because I'm going to do that at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to answer it as live. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, as we go. So, why is there 5 bits? Why is that not just one complete roll? And what's the benefit of having it in 5 bits?
You could say a little bit of geometry in here. You can build. You can decide on your track size straight away. Most popular is the 400, but let's say if you've got 15 minutes left of the lesson, you might not get round all the way.
Yeah.
It's now worse, is there, when you're going for your lunch and you go, oh my God, I'm not finished. I've seen kids, they normally end up staying. If the teacher sounds, you'll end up staying and playing.
So that now...
So you've got a little mini track here. And this one's designed for pursuits, really, where you can put your figures on the track and you're chasing each other, getting the questions right, rolling the dice till you get knocked out, and then you'll end up with the last man standing. That takes a while.
Yeah.
But why not? Let the kids just play the game.
That,
or you can just have a little mini track and just race round, just keeping it steady. Or you can make it little. There's loads of little ways you can put this here. You can have a little slightly smaller. It's up to you. It just shows a bit of versatility, and when you're in the classroom or when you're at home, it actually gives that young person, well, how are we going to play today? And it just sparks conversation, doesn't it? How are you going to do things?
So you might look at that and go, I'm going young person, Eddie.
Yeah.
Boxwell, we're going to have this in our HQ. We've already discussed that.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. So, but I might look at this from a 15-year-old perspective who struggles with maths, confidence, self-esteem, all of that different thing, all right? And I'll look at that, and that overwhelms me because it's too big. So what you're saying is, all right, I can take them two out.
Yeah.
Now that from the first instant, I want to play that because I've only got to answer so many questions to get there. Yeah. But then the natural progression of it is next time.
Yeah, we'll do a bit more.
We'll do a bit more.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's brilliant. So the next thing I've got for you, right, is.
Yeah. Or you could do the 100, just whiz up again.
Oh,
there you go.
The home straight.
The home straight.
Yeah, I like that.
In some of the schools I've been into recently, right, there's been small groups where someone's just wanted to be the ref and just, doing the questions.
Yeah.
They haven't been brave enough to maybe have a go, but they're in and amongst it.
So that's a role that they can take upon.
Yeah. You cheated. Cool. You went 3 there. Go back 1. Keep it the enforcer, the marshal. Yeah. And then after a while, though, some young people will decide to have a go when they're ready. That's
so you're
fine.
Observing from an authoritative
They're not ready
yet,
but they're having a watch and they don't mind doing the refereeing. There was a school I went into, Outwood, Acklam, not long ago, and there was a young lad there. There was 4 of them. They set the game up. I showed them how to do it. And if it wasn't for the split screen, his friends were a little bit further ahead in their learning journey. Yeah. He was at the basic adding stuff, and he often gets pulled away to do extra stuff. He wants to be with his friends, so we split screened it. I knew straight away. I thought, let's get him doing some adding here. He'll like that. The first thing you normally start learning to do is add. And he was fine. His other mates were, probably working where they need to be, key stage 3. And he played with his friends. He didn't win, but he competed against them at his level. That changed everything for him.
I don't want to lose this because this for me is probably the most valuable part of this.
Inclusive type of learning.
The inclusive learning, like you're saying there, is say for instance I'm 15 and I'm operating at an 8-year-old.
Yep.
Okay. I've got a 12-year-old who's on 12.
Yeah.
I've got someone who's a higher achiever. Two higher achievers there.
Yeah.
So how does this game make us be on a level playing field? Because if I'm the one who's operating at a level at age 5 and I'm overwhelmed by maths in general, how can you create the environment with this game that puts me on the level playing field where I can still win by competing at my level? How does that work?
So, as I mentioned before, you can go into Performance Centre and you find your level. But what we've done in the app, there's a little button you can press, UK or US, and it tells you the age from age 5 all the way up to GCSE. But instead of staying, you're working at, you're 15 and go, you're working at age 8, son. It's not a good feeling, is it?
No.
And it's probably no fault of their own where they've missed learning at home and things haven't gone right, But if you call Prime 5 or Prime 2 or Pro 3, we've just renamed the levels.
So you've took the stigma away from 5 years old to a Prime 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. That's and then Masters is the level where you've mastered what you need for numeracy for GCSE, and that works. And no one really cares like what level they're playing at because that goes out the window. I've been into that many schools. I've worked with community groups and stuff. I'm yet to see someone going, you're only working at that level. It just hasn't even come into it because the distraction of the game takes them where they need to be to just play.
So you mentioned about this app. Yeah?
Yeah.
So this app, we're able to differentiate between the level where that young person is
Yeah.
and they're a prime 1, 2, 3, pro 1, 2, 3, whatever that be, right?
Little key in there to tell you where
Yeah, so
you're at.
you'd be able
so
to...
you know roughly.
You'd know...
It overlaps a little bit. Now, we've mapped it to the curriculum the best we can, but at the same time, we just need to make it fun. And we don't want to be too silly with losing people in this. And it's done just right.
So if I'm operating at an aged 5, a prime 1, say for an example, right? And my partner in my game, he's operating at the level above, all right? Is this young person here able to see the maths equations on that app on the screen?
You can see that, but do you know what that brings out the best in people? The competitive edge.
Yes.
The willing to go, I'm going to give that a go when they're ready to do it. They won't just jump on it straight away. So we've had the moments where someone's gone a little bit too far ahead trying it, but they've just dropped back, they've got into the lane again.
So can you change that mid-game?
Yeah, we can swap it around.
So if you saw someone dropping off, there's a potential of overwhelm, there's a potential for total disengagement. As a teacher or a professional, you can just go, do you know what? I'm just going to drop that down.
Just drop it down. Sometimes even the performance centre's there because I've had to put it in. Right, just start at prime 5 and work your way up, and then you'll find someone goes, "Oh, I nearly got that right." Well, try it again next week, and let's see if you can get that to that level. They don't seem too put off by it, but it's insight in mind learning. They're looking at the other people's stuff, going, "I'm going to get to that level." How did I start when I wanted to play hockey to be good? I watched other people. And it's just like this in maths. I'm watching, God, bloody hell, that's good. I always work that out. Oh, look at them skills there. I'll go and practice.
So could I...
And I'll secretly sneak up and find my level. You know, I'll keep
You're the level
better.
above me, right, Seth, out in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your subtraction, adding, all sort of stuff. And I'm actually looking at it and going, I'm trying to answer that. So although I might have 10 questions to answer, I'm actually going to try to answer 40 questions if I've got 4 players. Because I'm going to probably go... What if I could do that? But I'm going to do it in an environment where no one really knows because I don't need to. So you can then...
You can go and practice.
You can judge that level,
you can go and coach at home. You can go take the app, leave this and just get your whiteboard out and have a little practice. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, out the way of everyone. There's your little one-on-one time if you want to do that. Or just play with a friend and just... So is that something where if there's no different app, is there just one app or is there one app for like... parents, there's one app for professionals? No, there's one app. It's straightforward. It's designed for a 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old to understand. Well, it's proven that a 9-year-old can pick this game up, understand the app very quickly and play the game, read the rules, look at the video, suss it out. If you're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course you need to be supported. In fact, depending on your learning requirements and the need, you know, facilitating learning anyway in general is a pretty good idea at school.
Can you do it on a mobile phone?
Yeah, it's on the phone,
Cool.
So it's on your iOS, Android, Chromebook, and your any phone device you can just load up. For the best results for me, plonking your iPad down, getting the kids round playing, boom.
So you've got a focal point,
it's just a little bit bigger and, you know, just for the reactions and the things that the app produces, then that hooks you in.
So we're playing, okay?
Yeah.
And it seems to me you've got competition, you've got competitive nature, you've got something which reduces barriers to participation by being flexible with the levels.
Learning. Some adaptive
learning. You're able to be, you know what, we're only going to do 100 metres. We're only going to be able to do 200 metres.
Yeah.
So you've got that flexibility in that. Wow. That is probably the best, because I work with very complex young people. Some of them have not been into a school building for 2 years. Their experience of learning has been very negative. It's been labelled as poor behaviour. It's been labelled as impossible. They've got every diagnosis going. You know, and it's like this young person cannot be in there. It's not safe. So having a tool like this to be able to say, let's introduce learning in a competitive way, first of all, because no one likes losing, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
We can shorten it up. We can make it bigger. We can do other stuff. This, for me, is so multifunctional removes any barrier to participation. You're balancing screen time with actual gameplay. The communication that you're going to get of that is I might jump forward to, no. Do you know what I mean? Go back.
Yeah.
And you're going to get that, aren't you? Because, listen,
I've watched the
I cheated
kids.
Monopoly for 2.5 years. Yeah, I was a banker. So I know it works. But with this...
You watch them try it on. I mean, it's funny, it's comedy gold sometimes when you see them sat round.
Yeah.
When no one's looking, they'll do that, and I'm watching going, and then someone will spot it. But the learning, I'm guessing at home, maybe they didn't sit down and have a family meal. Maybe they're with the phones now. Everyone's doing so many different things. Getting sat round a table face to face and having that social conversation, that emotional intelligence that they're learning to, they're looking at each other going, he doesn't know what he's doing, he can't answer that question. Whoa, we're in here. It's all down to roll. And all these things come about. And what I've found as well is that the swearing goes away a bit after a while.
Yeah.
And they're just talking. We brought them right back. Swearing's all right now and again. If you are a frustration, we all do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But all of a sudden, they're finding a way to just be nice, plain. They're just gone back.
I've been doing a bit of research about swearing and stuff like that, about it within Boxwell. We challenge behaviour all the time. We challenge, especially bad language. There's a time and a place for it, and I get it, frustration and things like that. But what I've done, the research I've done, it's quite a regulating tool. A lot of people will feel a lot better after they've sworn and effed and jeffed and done.
Have a little blowout.
I don't promote it. Don't get me wrong. Because at the end of the day, you've got to learn. You've got to learn to manage, your environment where you're at. But
safe to do it.
At times, there's a safe space to do that because it's especially when it's in context. If it's in context, you stub your toe, you stood on the plug, and you're F and Jeff. I can deal with that because that's an instant reaction that you're not really in control of. If you then choose to F and Jeff in every sentence, then I have a problem. I have a problem because that's not something that I want to promote, and that's not something that is going to be acceptable. It's going to put you in a very negative light out. You go to the doctors and you say, look at me F and toe. I've got me water, me end and me toe sort of thing. It doesn't really work. So we're trying to build skills. But there's a certain level of regulation when a young person does swear. It's a safety thing. They do it with their friends. The amount of swear words they have in a group is crazy. It's the same with men. Men do it as well.
Oh yeah.
It's a learned behaviour. But I want to go a little bit deeper, right? Because everything I look at, I just go wow, and I want to try and give everyone a bit of an authentic feel to what this actually is and how good this can be in their setting, right? I'm looking at that dice, right? That is not a normal dice. Don't get me wrong. It's got 6 sides. Yeah. Why, right, is there only 3 numbers on that?
So I remember getting the board made years ago, and we had some figures done. It was my first prototype. And some kid rolled a 6 twice, and he was halfway around here, and the others were rolling 1s and 2s, and I thought that's not fair. So we've kept it 1 to 3.
Why is it not fair?
You're just getting too much of, because there's too many numbers on. There was too many numbers on for someone to roll. For example, you get a question right at your level, I get one at my level, but you've got an opportunity of rolling a 1 up to a 6. If someone rolls a 1 and you roll a 6, it just doesn't quite work because they're too far away, they're too far down the line.
So what?
Getting round the track. So if I keep it to 1, 2 and 3 moves at once, the amount of times that I've seen it being used over the years, it keeps it competitive and it just works. Yeah. It just works. Now and again, hey, if the kid, when I go into some primary schools, I go, do you want to write your own rules? Yeah, 2 rules for the top question because that's harder. Hey, throw it in and mix it up. One word on that box, it says, just be creative. We've given you ways to play. Yeah. And you can play how you want to play. You can use it for spelling. I know teachers use it for, spelling, like 3-letter words, 4-letter words, and they're just lined up, some look up on the screen. And because these are pretty cool, the hooks them all in straight away. Oh yeah, I'll do a bit of spelling as long as we're playing a game while we're doing it. Yeah. And if you put them in teams, it's even better because you can have a conversation. Oh, you do that, I didn't want. I'm not so sure about that. And then you're bringing out all that sports out. You know, the power of sport's big, isn't it?
Yeah, huge.
But you know, we've all been there and we're involved in it somehow now. But we used to love it as kids. It built you up a bit. Yeah. You know, learning to win, lose, learning new skills, meeting people. You know, working in that team. It's class, isn't it? When you're playing football, you're playing hockey, and you're constantly talking to your teammates about how are we going to win this game.
Yeah.
You know, what do we need to do to win? And at half time, you're having that team talk, and you go, we'll go down this way. He's got no touch, this lad.
Yeah. You always find a vulnerability, don't you?
Find a vulnerability, and you're away. And I'll arguably say, well, does this find some vulnerability in young people a little bit? It does, but just the maths.
But it should do.
It doesn't make you feel worried about anything because we've got the supports there, and it does, but it builds you up. You know, and it's, you know, working at River Tees Multi Academy Trust recently, we're working on the data's looking good for this. You know, people are engaged using it, and it's showing some real improvement, not just for maths, but for your emotional intelligence of just coming into the classroom, sitting down, playing the game, not arguing with people, learning to take your turn, rolling the dice, all those little things.
Valuable skills.
Unbelievable skills to have, just as important as your math skills, maybe more important, because no one's going to test your math skills first until you go for an interview or something like that. They're going to see you first. Yeah. Who are you? What are you about? And that stuff comes later on, and you don't have to be the best because someone will coach you into something, and you'll get that support as long as you're workable. And you know, like I say, when you talked about Scrabble and things like that, Alfred Butts invented that in 1938. And he was an architect from America. He wasn't a teacher. He doesn't have to go through all the things you have to go through now to get it accredited. Yeah. Bloody hell, his timing was quite good. I think he sold 4,000 in his first year, but inventive marketing was good for him. He licensed the product out, and in 8 years it sold 33 million copies. Hasbro came along, and it sold another 120 odd million because they know how to market stuff. And he didn't know how to do that. But he loved words and spelling and grammar and all that stuff. You know, Connect 4. I mean, Connect 4, if you break that down and look at it, it's a very straightforward, very easy to work out game. Lego, it's bricks.
I love Lego.
But it's good, isn't it? Because I used to play Lego. I used to have the battleships, the cars, and that taught me methodical thinking. Oh, well, yeah, we've got them all. I mean, it's expensive Lego, but it's still...
It's never changed, has it? The bricks.
No.
The bricks are still the basis of them.
I think they nearly lost their. It's the underneath bit that's the important bit, how it clicks together. If I'm right in thinking, if I remember rightly, they nearly lost the IP to that, intellectual property, but they got it sorted in the end.
Yeah.
But they're huge now. Serious Lego players coming out, and you know you can have your Lego there, and you'll be. Show me your day through Lego. I'll get up, I'll do this, I'll do that. I've been through it and I found it got my brain thinking a little bit. No, not everyone's always into that type of stuff.
No.
But for kids and stuff, and if you're running a business, you need to be into it because it's better than sometimes writing a load of stuff down. You'll have this daft shark and you'll have this, and I'll go, what's that with this? That's me falling off. Earlier. Into a nice cushion, you know, I've got some family support, you know, or whatever it is.
No.
And you look at that. That helped me open my mind to a few ideas for this and things like that. But I want to be, and I hope that people start seeing value in this game and how useful it can be, so we can be up there on a level with some of these people, which is laughable. But
it's not laughable. It's commendable. To be fair,
I think I've got a chance to do that. And at the moment in time, we just focus on maths, but it could be English, it could be other things through the app. But all that costs a lot of money, so I need to make sure that I push what I've got. Yeah. Just the way it sits right now, it's just right for, you know, early intervention's the key, isn't it? And if we can, well, there's two things with the environments that we worked in. First of all, early intervention's great. If mums and dads are starting to use this, maths teachers, when it comes to secondary, are going to be buzzing, thinking, bloody hell, we don't have to go back and revisit anything. They're already ahead of the game. They're going to be working on more complex stuff, you know, which is hard to write into an app, some of the curriculum, the way it sits, when you want quite a quick fire round. But we'll find a way around that when I've got enough money to do it with the game.
Yeah, you still, don't get me wrong, you've done an unbelievable job.
One other thing. The other thing is it's great for intervention. So if you miss stuff, early intervention, get people playing at 3, 4, and onwards. But anyone that's missed school for 4 or 5 years, and like I say, I've been lucky enough to go into River Tees Multi-Academy Trust recently. There's been some young lads there and lasses that have missed school for whatever reason, but they're right back into this. It wasn't a worksheet that hooked them in. This game did. And then that game has then allowed the class teacher to go, let's just push it along with something else now. And they're accessing it because they're all right. They've got the confidence with this and they're up for doing a few other things. It's mint to see.
So if you're kind of, you can pick this game up from 5 right the way through GCSE. Okay?
Of course you can, yeah.
So if you wanted to do your own little revision in regards to your GCSEs are coming up, you've been sat at your desk for 2 or 3 hours trying to process information, but it's not going anywhere. Competitive nature, against your mum, against your peers, against your friends.
Yeah.
Come over, let's have a little My Books Live session. Let's go the hardest level. Let's push ourselves. So this is not just for young people who are struggling. This is not just for young people who need a little bit of extra support. This is quite a universal game for everybody. Yeah. Parents, grandparents, the fact that you've got visual aids here with every hidden detail, what you've gone into, it's ridiculous. I've seen on there negative numbers. I've never seen that ever.
I think we're the only company to who've got the license, the rights to put an underline on an A4 whiteboard on the planet. Go Google it after this and have a look. Yeah. Things like that, where you just think...
Is that the levels?
There's your levels
so
there.
If I was on here, would I just... That's where I'm at?
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I want to get up here somewhere.
Yeah. So you've got natural aspiration of I'm a Pro 2, but I want to be a Pro 1.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a pro, don't they?
Yeah. Well, we do, yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're watching at the minute, I'm hearing Prime and I'm hearing Pro and loads of these like golf, and it's all these terminology for sports and how good you are. They're all in there. So it's sort of, expert and mastering something. There's even a difference in that, isn't there?
So you see these here? These things here?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mentioned before, like, I'm a fidget toy guy, all right? Yeah. I always like to have chewing something or something around. So actually, I can be strategically just rolling this around and then stopping it when I think, 511's 55.
Yeah.
But to anybody else, it just looks like I'm just rolling it around. Yeah. But actually, I'm taking information in.
So the research in that is the kids and the schools that are using it, it's better than being given your big learning grid, because that just, someone will point it and go, oh, dummy, whatever.
Yeah, because they would do like that, wouldn't they? They would be going, right, that's what I need.
You don't need a huge learning grid there anymore. I mean, I understand why, but when you're handing them out, just the tables and everything look messy. This is a bit more discreet if you need a bit of support.
What's your best times, your own personal best timetable? What are you good at? Straight away, what number?
What, sixes?
Sixes,
right.
right.
Yeah,
so you sixes, so what's your weakest? Like, you might not be like...
Oh, no, but honestly, right, when you're not doing it regularly, sometimes your 7, 8 and 9s are always tricky. I'm always like, oh, bloody hell, let pass that here.
So 7 and 9's my best?
Yeah,
it's a lot of people's worst. Yeah. So actually, I might be really good at 7 and 9, but I might struggle with 12s.
Maths is a funny thing, because something that looks so simple, someone can't do, but then they'll go and solve an A-graded GCSE or whatever, level 9, and you're like,
Yeah.
It's a funny thing.
That's what these. That's what I like about these.
But it gets you thinking these.
Because even if I might go out, I'm really good at that ones, but I'm not very good at 8s. I could be sat here watching that, but also going 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. You know what I mean? Like, in my head.
Yeah.
So this is not just a learning aid that's going to help me as I'm working. This is what I'm doing. I'm taking information in as I'm going. Because I'm just rotating around and go, God, which one have you got there? Oh, gives that. Let's have a look. Swap, yeah. It's all the communication And
people will look at them. Kids do look at them, and they do, without you even knowing that. Every time that this game's getting used in schools, there's them moments that are happening, and it's good that they're trying to self-teach themselves a little bit for once. People overcomplicate things so much. I find it frustrating. I understand that you need sequence. I understand that you need to say, well, what's 3? You know, it's 1, 2, 3 P. Do you know when they've got the bricks out and they're doing all that? All them things I get. But then the problems that we have is some of the kids have not had that early intervention to learn.
Yeah.
And they're not that interested. They don't want to be getting the bricks out because they know it's baby. They went, nah, but these little things will help. And the brain will start working out what that looks like, and they'll do it.
I remember at
because
school,
these young people are not daft. They're really sharp, and they haven't maybe had these opportunities, and some of them they can soon get back up to speed, and before you know it, they're taking over people. You know, with the right, game show host, if it's me in there helping them, or you've got that one teaching assistant or that one teacher that can just bring the maths stuff to life, then that changes
just
everything.
energy, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you've got to love it, haven't you? You know, I don't even have to love it, but you've got to be passionate behind it.
Yeah, they'll feel that, and then they'll want to try and show off. They'll want to try and go, no, I want to better myself here, and then they won't be doing it for you. They'll start doing it for themselves, and they'll push themselves to the limit of stuff in sport or in this. You know, it's a bit like when I spoke to Frank Bruno's team, and when I was speaking to the bloke called Dave. Big Frank, yeah, there he is, Big Frank. If you're watching, right, I'm gonna have to call this out here, but George Foreman Grills, okay, we can sell more maths games if your team gets involved. This could be an absolute global product.
Come on, Frank.
Come on.
Get on board.
But from what the guy was saying, that Frank was, his sporting skills got him out of stuff, but he wasn't very good at reading and writing. And I think he's got a tutor now, and he's doing a little bit, and it's unbelievable. It's opened a new world to him. Dave Davis, who told me it's opened a new world. It's never too late to do a bit of learning. But if you start looking at so sport got him out of it, and, out of probably whatever it could have been, his skills took him into, the boxing world. He's fought the best people in the world. It's unbelievable what he's done. But now, like you say, is he 64 or something? He's learning. He's doing it a different way. He's learning to read, communicate with people on LinkedIn, which I've spoken to him on, which is unbelievable. I didn't think people like that would maybe give us any time of day, but it's good because he has that little open to connections, I thought.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go on then. Let's see if we get in touch. And
Shy kids getting out?
No, you've got to ask, and it could take someone like him and a few other people to blow it up a lot quicker than what I could do.
What I want to do, mate, is I want to give you a lot of credit, right? So when I go to a training course, when I go anywhere, I always look at how can this be better? How can this experience be better? I do it at Boxwell every day. When we get a group in, and I'm always trying to better than what we'd previously done.
Yeah.
If that be, I want to push him a little bit more because I want a little bit more from him. I think, he's flagging a little bit. I want to do something different.
Yeah.
I have not got a single negative to say about this pod, right? The flexibility in its size, the creativeness in your characters, the way you've been able to jump onto sport, the minor detail, but they're not even minor details, the takeaway, the terminology, subtract, the difference between, are all triggers for, that's what that means. The fact that you've even thought about a dice, that blows me away, right? In a way of, you're keeping learning fun. As soon as someone's 12 spaces ahead, I'm not playing. He's going to win. I can't win now. It's impossible. You've made it so this board can be adapted to meet the most neediest learners, but also can be as mainstream as a maths lesson.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. I'm looking at you. You've got cards.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. We've got our 1 to 12, 13 to 20 cards. So if your internet's not working, hey, you can just. I wanted someone to compete against TT Rockstars, and they do 1 to 12 times table platform game. There's no better feeling than being the ref and pulling the cards. 1 to 12 or 13 to 20 deck here.
Yeah.
It shows that adaptive learning, but it gives a child the responsibility of being the ref and pulling the cards and checking on what people are doing, you know, or if they don't want to play yet, let's just get them involved somehow before they maybe take that leap to starting to play.
The visual age you've got, the negative numbers, the ranking.
Yeah.
When you look at the Premier League, it's football. How many points do I need to get to third place?
Yeah.
Or Man City are 5 points ahead of me. Yeah. Craig's, he's a Pro 1 and I'm a Pro 2. Yeah. I want to be a Craig. I want to be him. You inspire him with just your learning aids of going, you're meeting people where they're at. You're meeting him when he's operating at an age 5 and he's 13.
Yeah.
But you're not making it a problem. You're making it inclusive. So you've got a board that's so flexible, interactive. You've got a little bit of screen time. If you haven't, you've got cards. You've got something, if you write it down wrong, you just rub it out.
Yeah.
You've taken a dice from a 6 dice to a 3 dice to maintain that competitive nature, whilst also hitting every curriculum thing from floor to ceiling, getting ready for GCSEs.
Yeah.
And you're making it accessible to a point where this works for parents, teachers, people in care homes, parents, grandparents. Like, wow.
I Googled the other day benefits for doing maths. Do you know, like, they've got some English apps, haven't they? And a list of 20 things came out, and I can't remember them all. But if you take a look at it, just keeping your brain sharp and keeping yourself on point with just doing a little bit of numeracy, because it's one of the great ways to just get your brain thinking and fired up. It's big impacts for life longevity and stuff like that. You know, but you could, you know, take it. I look back when my nan and granddad were big influences in my life. My nan had a venous stroke, and it's a bit like getting all your memories and lobbing them up everywhere and then trying to put them back together. If I'd have had this at the time to bring into the care home to play, because she was sharp, there were some things where she'd drift in and out of, but that was the condition that what happened. But getting nan and granddad sat round the table and the whole family doing a little bit now and again, it's just good, and it's healthy for your mind just to do a little bit here and there. Not all the time, but it is there. I wish I have the list somewhere. I'm not going to get my phone out now and read you through it. But it's, when you read it, it'll hit home, and you'll go, yeah, I can see why.
Can I ask you a question?
I can see why this is important.
Probably the most important question. Are you proud of what you've done?
Yeah, I haven't had much chance to think about it because I'm far from out the woods with this. When I started 4 years ago, it was okay because I had some funding to start with, but when after that goes and you have to try and survive yourself, it's rock hard. If I don't go and do anything, nothing happens. Do you know what I mean? I have to keep making it happen. And I never used to be really like that because I have a safety net of a full-time job and things like that. The safety net isn't there anymore, but I think it's sort of bringing the best out of me. And it's challenging. I'm proud of what I've done. Of course I am, but I haven't had a chance to proper think
enjoy
about
that,
No, not at all. Because there's so much more to do. It's the inventive marketing. How do I communicate with people to sell this game now? How do I get a video across to someone who's never seen it before that goes, bloody hell, yeah, I'll take him to football. Why aren't I doing it for maths? Why aren't I? That's my biggest challenge that I'm going to have in my working life right now, is to try and push this game to get it out there.
Well, I'm hoping this platform, I know we're a very small platform, you know, we're just starting out, that sort of thing. I hope you get some recognition, even just from this. There'll be people who'll come across this and go, do you know what? I might have seen it. I've seen it on the shelf in my school. A teacher might have thought, oh, what's that? I think we've give this a very good platform to say, it works for this, it works for that. We can do this. It can be flexible. It balances screen time. We've got learning aids. I'm hoping a lot of people go, do you know what? I could definitely do one of them, because it shows it's universal. It's as Scrabble is. Yeah.
If we can follow in the footsteps of Scrabble, then I just think it's a modern day game. It's more versatile than what Scrabble's good. Except I'm not dishing Scrabble. Unbelievable, it's class. But we're maybe doing that Scrabble stuff for maths with My Box Live, you know. And Scrabble's done well. I used to play it, even though I was, I was a three-letter specialist, wasn't I? The dog, cat. It's about as far as I could go. I just couldn't find a four-letter word in me. I did eventually, but I kept going and I tried, and I turned up and had to go. And when you're playing with your nan and granddad, it's not as bad as playing with your peers and stuff like that sometimes, because I felt a bit vulnerable, a bit nervous. But this, though, will break all those barriers down very quickly, and it's got a hell of a chance to be in schools. It should be in my view, of course. I think it should be in every school in the country and beyond. America, everywhere, homeschooling, the lot. It's going to help with your numeracy. It's going to get you better if you start playing it.
You've got the flexibility with those learners who are struggling as well, haven't you?
Massive. It's going to give them a chance to.
As a one-man band, yeah, that's what you operate. Now you might have some staff working for you or helping you or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your baby, innit? Boxwell's mine. I bred it. I've put my energy into it, and I love it. And I love going to work. All right.
Yeah.
The passion you have for this, you can see that. The time we've been spending has been absolutely class together. And if anyone is watching this now, okay, and they wanted to say, do you know what? I'd love to have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
What could they do? How do they contact you directly? Do you offer like a bit like this? I'll come and sit with you, go through it, or can they buy it online, or how does it work?
My Box Live makes maths sporty fun. If you go on myboxlive.com, explore the game, get in touch with me. We do demos in schools, demos for community groups, and you can order the games on there and our accessories. You can download the app from the links there. You get a 10-day free trial, which is good. And we're on TikTok Shop as well, and we go live on TikTok and talk people ways on how to play and how versatile the game is. Thank you.
This is just a start. I don't think there is any lesson that you could do at school that could not be adapted through a different app, a different set of cards. Yeah. You mentioned about the 3-letter words, 4-letter words, and that sort of stuff. Use these letters and do that, and then we'll get her on the board. Yeah. So the flexibility and the opportunity for growth is unbelievable.
A couple of things. I mean, there's some funding out there at the minute that we've spotted that, you build it on a PC first, which is your first stage, and then you can adapt it and switch it to put on the Nintendo Switch or PlayStation. So there's ways that I understand learning to adapt to make sure it's right for the learning, but at the same time, we're not going to overcomplicate things. We're just going to make it fun so people start playing it, digitally or like this. Because I think there's 1 in 3 PlayStations in every household in America. So the market's massive to take it into the gaming world, but it has to be done right. And it has to be with the learner at the heart every single time. So if you don't have the learner's been built around this, in my experience, and it'll be done the same way if we go digital with it. But the beauty of just sort of sat. Do you know when you used to play? What was it? Tiger Woods golf with the Wii.
Yeah.
There's a way around doing that with working things out and doing things. So it's even with headsets on and stuff like that down the line, there's a way of really.
Why do you think Rockstars went just online? Access.
TT Rockstars.
Yeah. How do you think they go online? Just because it was access.
It's a basic 1 to 12 times table. People say that if you learn your 1 to 12 times table by your 8, it gives you a solid foundation, which it does. But there's 180,000 kids that failed maths last year that TT Rockstars doesn't work for them at all. It's a platform game. Look, anyone that's done it, anyone that's helping anyone do maths is unbelievable, right? So what I'm saying is that where's this competition? And I've looked at that, and it didn't click with me at all. The way I learn and do stuff, I need something like this, and there's a lot of people that does.
Hands-on,
and it's cheaper to run. That's how it started as a PC platform game, very straightforward. But when you come across 9 times or 12 times 9, and you need to show you're working out, you're just bashing and putting. That loses kids straight away. Yeah,
where ultimately when you do an exam, you have to show you're working out, don't you? In like exams and stuff like that.
Yeah, but if you haven't got anything to show you're working out, you just
that's what I'm saying. So
you need something there, and this is why we're only beginning to balance that screen time with like your ed tech hands-on learning. there's a market for it, for this, because you look at the kids who, you know, nearly, like I say, 180,000 seem to fail maths, and you think, well, hang on a minute, well, what are we doing from the ages of 3 to up to 14 when they start the GCSE? And that's the bit where I say, TD rock stars, you just button bashing, you can't all get around the table and play that.
No, it's isolated sort of thing, isn't it?
You can with this. Yeah. And this is where...
So you've taken them to the next level, haven't you?
Well, I think so, yeah. We do more than 1 to 12 times table. I'm a massive advocate for learning through play and things like that. So
you can tell that.
You know, it's just very important.
That's a success. This will be a success. Okay, you should be proud. I'm pleased that you are proud, because it's important that we do recognise. You know, when we're doing something good, sometimes, you know, your day can be a little bit monotonous. You know, you're worried about this, you're worried about that. But knowing you've built something successful, fit for purpose, very adaptable and accessible, like, fair play to you, because that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Even down to the little niggly bits that we've talked about.
If you're 8, come on, you're going to go, well, I'll have a go.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a bit of a habit of a change, or of a, not like an addiction. You always want to go and have a game of footy. And just doing this now and again, I reckon if we can get it into 20,000 primary schools, and I affect 10 of those learners massively, all of a sudden, if they're the 10 that might drop out and not do well, we've hooked them into wanting to learn maths. That failure rate of 180,000 drops massively. Now, I'm not saying everything's about GCSEs. It doesn't define anyone, that. But it is. Maths is a useful thing to know. It really is. You need your reading and writing. You've got to have them. You've got to have them instilled in you. And if you're an all right person as well that can manage their emotions in certain situations, you've got to be a better person. And you're going to do well. You're not going to fear things or put it off or leave it. You're going to tackle it head on. I know a bit of maths. What was I like when I played my box? Oh yeah, it was all right. Right, I can deal with this situation that I've got now. Turning up at an interview, whatever it is, like boxing in the ring, isn't it? If you can bloody hell, if you've got the bottle to get up and do that.
Oh yeah.
And then you think, why am I getting worried about going for this interview? He's not going to punch me, is he? No, he's not going to start. He's not gonna, yeah. You know, that's an amazing thing when you're getting the kids into the club, learning through, you know.
Repetition as well, isn't it? It's a massive thing for learning.
Of course it is.
You know, we spend a lot of time doing quite similar stuff. We have daily routines, pickups, breakfast, check-ins, boxing, dinner, activity.
Nice habit, isn't it?
Yeah, because you're trying to create a habit, because a lot of young people are out of that routine. You know what I mean? So just because they're not in school doesn't mean they shouldn't know what's coming. Yeah. Because ultimately, if you go, what we're doing today, we're going to have breakfast at this time, and you know, you're creating a habitual routine. And that's, I think, that's really important when you transition away from the work that we do. Yeah. You're already in a routine. You know that happens. That happens. A bit like you have English, then you have science, then you have maths. You know what I mean? Like your day's set, so the transition's a little bit easier. And
sometimes you don't always want to go to your maths lesson. No. But with your routine and your mindset, you just... I mean, there was a lot of times when I didn't want to go to maths lessons, or you didn't want to do certain things at school, but you just sort of was in the routine. You just went and grin and bared it, because you can't always do things you want to do all the time. You need to be in, and sometimes you'll always take a little moment from it.
Absolutely.
Like 30 seconds ago, didn't know how to do that.
It's just a little bing, light bulb moment.
Yeah, just those.
So are we going to, right, from here, I'm going to have 2 in our new HQ base. One upstairs, one downstairs.
Yeah.
And what I hope to see, all right, in the next couple of years, maybe even between a couple of years and 10 years, is that a young person comes into me and goes, I played that in primary school. I want to play that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if that young man or young lady can play the game, be inspired by it, and recognise it's my box live. I did that when I did that. Oh, I used to be a Pro 1. Now, let's play that. That is the introduction to maths. It's that common denominator of, I remember that.
Yeah.
That is going to be an unbelievable moment to look back where we are at right now, to say that that's had that direct impact.
Yeah.
I still remember the Scrabble games, the dominoes, the darts, the cards, everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping that happens.
Gets up there on a level with those things.
Absolutely.
It's like on TikTok at the minute, a lot of the kids are going, I play my box live to beat him and stuff like that, because you won't be doing that, you know, but at the same time, you're just playing at your level, you're in your lane doing your thing, and then that's good for, you're doing 20 minutes, you're doing extra maths that you don't do. You don't do. Do you know what I mean?
Even like I say, even a short game would suffice. And then when that the aspiration from that goes, I want to be a bit longer. You can turn a 10-minute lesson into an hour lesson. Can you? Like that.
Sometimes will just play, yeah. And you'll know when you're working with young people the timing of when and when not to, and things like that. We all know that, and and that'll from people like yourself that are going to take it on, which is class. You've already sussed it out. You know where you're going to use it, how you're going to use it, and I have no qualms that you'll be all right with it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely sound.
Wait till you see me as a game show host. By the way,
yeah,
I will have mad energy.
Well, this is it, and this is what I'm hoping. And it's a bit slow at the minute, but we're hoping for those teachers and TAs to, you know, pick it up, give it a go, because you don't have to be at the front all the time to see learning happen. Sometimes it's just nice to just sit around, just break those little barriers down. Don't have to be so formal as doing a normal lesson, let's say, and just play this for a bit.
Yeah.
Because the benefits are the same, if not more. If not more.
We all
especially
learn
for especially for some young people that just need that sort of small group work session. And you're away with it, you know.
Do you think you've missed anything? Because obviously this is the platform, you know, when I rang you jumped all over it to say, let's sell your thing. I was super impressed by it. I'm going to be a user. I'm going to be an advocate of it. It's going to be all over me LinkedIn. It's going to be all over me social media.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, you know, if it's working, it's working. If I think I'm going to adapt it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who buy into this sort of thing need to know it's real. And it's not just something that looks really pretty in a box and looks nice on a shelf.
Yeah.
You know, if you use this, you're going to get a lot from it.
Yeah,
and that's the reality of it.
It's been accredited. It's probably one of my best working achievement is to sort of go toe-to-toe with educational psychologists about a couple of years ago. I put it in for, some of the leading educational psychologists for assessment. It wasn't quite there, but I got a list of things that I had to do. So it's my best achievement in my working life to get this globally accredited as a mathematical toy game, and that, you know, it's not, you know, before it was quite hard to, like, you're showing the game off to people and they were emailing you back, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, and it's like, oh my word. But when you've got a list of exactly what you need to do on the website reflects this, because you need the rules on there, you need the rules for an 8-year-old, 9-year-old to read. All of that is there now in place, and I don't get that anymore. Because it's new to the market and people probably want to criticise it and get stuck into it. Yeah. And I understand that, I know what people are like. But now you can't really do that because it's... Did you read the rules right? Have you checked what we've got on TikTok and other things that are going on? There's loads of handy hints and tips to help you out of play, and there's loads of things to do with it. We've got the basic stuff down there for you to play with, and then as long as they're doing maths, however they want to do it,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter that much, you know.
Well, mate, listen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, I wish you all the luck in the world. I'm a customer. Like Chris said before, if you want a copy, if you want a demonstration, get in contact with him, MyBox Live. And thank you very much for your time, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.